And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Delusional Fan. Geraghty, McCloud, Geraghty. Preview time again. 2 more weeks left of our previews, right?
We got some preseason games on.
We're watching some preseason, so if you see us do some weird old turns, we might be looking at the games.
I was just saying to you, man, there's no substitute for real football. That should go without saying. But I still like preseason. I've told Geraghty I'm recording this game at home so I can watch it.
I watch it because my brain wants to watch preseason football, but then I'll get into the second, third, and fourth quarters and watch. It's like watching high school football.
Oh, right. And let me say this too: the beauty of the preseason for me, as a stressful Packer fan, because that's usually what we are, stressed.
Yeah.
For a lot of times for no reason. I actually can watch a Packer game and not freak out.
Not care whether they win or lose.
Just not freak out on every play. So yeah.
All right. So preview time: AFC, NFC.
West.
We are going to do the Wests of both leagues this time. Let's start with the AFC, Ryan.
Sure.
I want you to go first. We got Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers, defending Super Bowl champions are in here.
I want to just tell them my lineup already.
So did I say it?
Pretty much.
All right. So what do you got so far?
Look, I think the AFC West is. It's not necessarily an up-and-coming division. The Broncos just won the Super Bowl last year, right? Mm-hmm. But they got some teams creeping up that are really good that have been kind of knocking on the door of that division. I think we're going to have a changing of the guard this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually predicting the Chiefs to take the division this year.
Okay.
All right, I have them at 11-5.
So you're on the Alex Smith, Andy Reid bandwagon?
I think they have been. They've come in second in the division the last 3 years, I think, in a row. And that's the Broncos have taken the division the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And so they've been knocking on the door now. I think they have the best coach in the division. At least arguably the best coach in the division. Kubiak just won a Super Bowl. Reid still doesn't have that. He doesn't have the longevity that Reid has.
Kubiak won a Super Bowl on John Fox's defense is back.
Of course, right? Of course. So here's the thing. And this is something new I'm going to start doing here. Their toughest games this year, they're at Carolina. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're at the Texans and they're at the Steelers.
Yep.
Those would be their 3 toughest games. Now they also have to go against Oakland twice a year, and Broncos twice a year. They have a solid defense. Their run game is great. It always has been. They have probably the most consistent quarterback in the division. Outside of Phillip Rivers is great, and he has been good for a long time. But you know what I mean when I say consistent?
Mistake-free.
Exactly. He's not making a ton of mistakes. He does that consistently on a yearly basis.
They gave him receivers last year, so Macklin's on the team now.
Right. They have a really tough stretch coming up, or not coming up, but mid-season, week 5 through 8. They have 5 out of 8 games on the road mid-season.
Okay.
Can they get through that stretch? But yeah, again, going back to the coach, the quarterback, a solid defense, a solid run game. They really have all the things you want in a team to win a division. I'm taking them number 1.
What do you want their record at?
11-5.
Which is what they were at last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that's good enough to take it this year.
Okay.
Again, there's going to be some more competition within the division. I actually have the Raiders coming in at number 2.
Yep.
So I don't even have the Broncos finishing second in the division this year. I have them at 10-6.
Okay.
Possibly making the playoffs here. Their toughest games, and this is going to be a pattern here because they play the NFC South as a division. Yep. But toughest games: Panthers at home, Colts at home, Texans in Mexico City. That'll just be a tough game because you're traveling to Mexico City for a game, right?
I think both teams will travel well because the weather isn't going to be that much of a change for them.
Sure.
So I don't see an advantage with the travel.
I just think it's strange playing in another country. I think it's still a travel for them.
Better than England.
It's still not well, absolutely. I agree with that. At any rate, they probably have the most favorable schedule in the division, them and the Chargers. Rightfully so. They finished on the bottom there last year.
Right.
But dude, they I think had probably the better offseason than anybody in this division as well. Mm-hmm. They added to a good young core. I mean, you have Carr there, you have Cooper there, you have Khalil Mack there. But they added a safety in Reggie Nelson, a proven safety there. They added Bruce Irvin, which is a big one as well. They added to the offensive line. I think they return to the playoffs this year. It's been 12 years since they have actually been in the 14 years, I think, actually, since they've been in the playoffs. So, too. So I have them taking another step, getting up to double-digit wins. and second in the division, playoff berth.
Gotcha.
All right? Number 3, here's where the Broncos come in. I have them finishing 8-8. Their toughest games, again, Carolina. They're at Cincinnati. They play the Patriots as well. And this is, I believe, when they play the Patriots, it's post week 5, so they will have Brady back. Yeah. Denver has a top 5 defense. That's going to carry them through the year. And I think last year it was the exception, not the rule, in terms of Peyton Manning being as average as he was and being able to win that Super Bowl and kind of carry them. He was hurt for a while. You had Osweiler in. But I think Peyton Manning's the only quarterback who could have done that, right? Actually won that Super Bowl for them. The cerebral aspect, I think people don't take that into account enough. That he put them in position.
You mean the only quarterback on that team?
No, I think he's one of few quarterbacks that can play that poorly and still take your team down the field.
I disagree with you there. I think you could have plugged in 15 quarterbacks for the Broncos and won a Super Bowl.
I don't. Again, I think, yeah, and that's fine. I'm not saying, hey, again.
You needed 3 throws a game, that's it.
You could have more talented guys come in who are probably better than Peyton Manning. I'm saying people who are that bad or that average and can actually get to that point. Look, regardless, Peyton Manning's gone. They don't have a proven commodity in quarterback. Sanchez has had his ups and downs in the league. At any rate, I have them at 8-8.
Okay.
I think a great D and a solid run game will get them by, but I don't think it's enough for the playoffs. Number 4, obviously the Chargers. I have them at 6-10. I don't see them making a huge leap this year. They won, I think, 3 or 4 games last year. Again, pattern here. They're at Carolina, at the Colts,
4-12,
at the Texans. These by the way, when I say their toughest games on the schedule, I'm not including anything in their division. I think every game will be tough for San Diego, though.
Right.
Their run game, Melvin Gordon needs to take a big step up. Offensive line was the worst in the league last year.
Still will be.
Yes, and again, I think it will continue to do that. The defense is still in flux, and their defense isn't good enough to help win them games, right?
Right.
They just can't afford to lose them games this year. So there's too many holes with them. I have them at 6-10, and not
You're
clearly.
going to give them 6 games.
That's what I'm saying. I think they'll be, I mean, that's a bad record. That's not a statement of a good thing, but so that's what I have. I've got your Chiefs, the Raiders, Broncos, Chargers.
And playoffs, you're saying Chiefs for sure.
I'm saying Chiefs are going to take
Obviously.
the division, obviously, and I think the Raiders with 10-6 will be good enough to get them into the wild card. Yeah.
Okay. The only thing we're going to have the same here is the Chargers, I think.
You have them at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll start with the Chargers.
Okay.
I don't believe in anything they're doing right now. The only person on that team I believe in is Phillip Rivers. He shouldn't have signed a new contract. He should have went into free agency and found something else. I think there are teams out there he could have went and played for. I know he loves the coast. I know he wants to be there.
It's just when people are loyal, you give them thumbs up, and then when they're not, it's, you know what I mean? If he would have left, it would have been like, he's not loyal, and he didn't stay and stick it out.
And the one thing you can say about Phillip Rivers, he might be one of the best leaders in the NFL as a quarterback, even though sometimes
he demands a lot from his teammates, which is a good thing.
And he's always going to have that rep. I played a game with a blown out ACL.
Yep.
You can do whatever you can for me to help win.
Right.
So I actually feel bad for Phillip Rivers.
Sure. I don't feel bad.
I've always liked Phillip Rivers. So I'm going to give San Diego 3 wins. I think they're 3-13. I think they're going to be terrible. And like you said, not only is their in-division schedule awful, their out-of-division schedule is awful.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So San Diego, I'll start there. Let's go back to the top of the division. I have a tie for the top of the division record-wise. I think Chiefs and Broncos are both 10-6.
Okay.
And here's the stupid part. My favorite team from this division is the Raiders, but I think they're 10.
Dude, I like the Raiders too.
9-7.
I like the Raiders too.
I love Derek Carr.
I really do like that team.
I love
They're
that
young.
defense. They're young. They're fast. They're exciting.
Right.
I don't know if they have enough to get over the Broncos and Chiefs defense at this point. I think they can take a game from both teams this year, I think it's their out of division schedule that might screw them up. One thing about the Raiders, same thing with the Chargers, they do not travel well. You get them out of California.
The Chargers, you're saying?
The Raiders, and Chargers.
Oh, right. Okay,
Both.
right.
You get those teams out of California, and they do not perform well.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be a big issue with both teams. So, yeah, Chiefs and Denver. And here's the thing. I think Denver is just as plug-and-play this year as they were last year. I know I didn't... I actually, going against what I said, I think, a week or two ago when we talked about the Broncos. I think you had... Somebody asked me a question. I think it was you. About do I think the Broncos are good enough to win? And I said no.
Yeah,
I think in reverse. The more I think about it, and from what I saw defensively from them in the preseason so far, I really think they're plug and play. And I actually like Trevor Siemian, and I actually like Paxton Lynch, and I still even think Sanchez could quarterback this team deep into the playoffs because of how good the defense is.
I mean, he couldn't do it with really good defenses in New York.
He went to the NFC or AFC title games.
Okay, I thought you were just saying
do that again.
No, right. Okay. I thought you were saying get him over the hump to the Super Bowl.
I have 10-6 both for Chiefs and Raiders. It's going to come down to who wins the division. I'm going to go Chiefs win the division, so that's one thing we're going to have that'll be the same. I don't know how that's going to work out playoff-wise. I think the Broncos might get screwed out of the playoffs because of that.
So wait, you're doing Chiefs 10-6, Raiders 10-6.
No, Chiefs 10-6.
Broncos 10-6.
Broncos 10-6, Raiders 9-7.
9-7. Okay, got it.
And then I've got San Diego all the way down in the basement.
Yep.
I like this division a lot. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, like you said, there's now a changing of the guard, or at least close to it. There's 3 teams in the division that are really good. I like it. Moving on to the NFC West, this, in my opinion, is the best division in football. I don't think there's a question. Do you question that at all?
Well, what I would say is I think they have 2 legitimate Super Bowl contenders in that division, which is enough to make them
right. I think
because the bottom half isn't. I'm not scared of the Niners. I'm not scared of the Rams. I worry about the Cardinals and the Seahawks. So,
I think they're the only team, like you said, that has 2 true top 5 Super Bowl contenders.
Right.
Like, for instance, you go into, we'll talk NFC North next week, but nobody thinks the Vikings are a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
People think the Packers are.
Right.
So there's one.
Yep.
We go into other divisions.
Patriots, Carolina.
Carolina.
Right, of
but
course.
not even,
Right.
You go into New England, but nobody else in the division. So yes.
That's what I'm saying.
This, to me, is the scariest division because they could knock anybody out.
Yep.
So Arizona, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco. I'm going to go bottom up again just because it doesn't matter. Niners are just a grease fire.
Yep.
Chip Kelly, I don't think is as terrible as everybody says he is.
Right.
I really don't. I think if he can somehow make Kaepernick work for him.
Yeah.
Because Kaepernick is a perfect quarterback for him. He really is.
You would think. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
What's Dixon? No, who's their runner now? Can't even remember who their damn running back is.
I want to say like Hill, but it's not. But
oh my God, I can't remember who the damn running back is.
Right. Whatever. I know. So you're saying their run game?
Yeah. I'm okay with the running game they have. What I'm not okay with is I don't think their defense is anything what it used to be. They lost too much. I think, again, cohesive-wise, going against an Arizona defense and a Seattle defense and a Rams defense, which is just as good as
certainly
the
defensive
Seahawks, the
line.
Cardinals.
Certainly the line, yeah.
I just don't think they're going to go anywhere, at least this year. I would give Chip a couple years. I really would. But
and I'll get into that. It sounds like go ahead. Just do your
I'm going to go San Fran. I'm going to give them 4 wins.
Okay.
That's what they're going to max out at. I'm going to give the Rams 6 wins, and that is all based on their defense. I think they're a mess at quarterback. Even though Case Keenum, for instance, can throw the ball, I think Jared Goff can throw the ball. I just think they're a mess at quarterback, and I don't believe in Jared Goff like everybody else does. I really don't. So I'm going to give 6 wins to the Rams. Now, top of the division, it's going to be a dogfight. I really do. I think Seattle's going to.
It's going to be fun to watch, though.
Yeah, and I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
As much as Arizona is a favorite for the Super Bowl this year, I actually see Arizona maybe taking a possible step back because of the age of certain players.
Palmer being
the most main one.
Fitzgerald.
And that's the thing. How much more is Palmer going to have left? He did play all of last year, but again, they still petered out.
He still was busted up.
He was still busted up.
He had like a broken thumb or something.
So I'm still going to give them. I think I'm going to give them 10 wins. I think they're a 10-6 team. I think they're actually probably an 11-5 team. You know what? I am going to go 11-5 with those guys, but I really think that
Winning the division, though?
No, I think Seattle wins the division.
Okay.
I really do. I think as much as I love the Cardinals' defense, I love Bruce Arians and think he works wonders with teams. I don't think he's going to overcome the age of his quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Seattle. Seattle's one of those teams I think that bounces back this year from last year, which had a little turmoil in it, where Cam didn't play in the first couple games. I think that's all done with. I think they have now refocused. I love Rawls. I think Rawls will be maybe a top 10 rusher this year. I think they didn't lose anything losing Beast Mode because he didn't do much for them last year. And I think Rawls is that new young blood that they need. I think Russell Wilson with another year under him is fantastic. Defense is always going to be good. So I am going to go 12 wins for the Seahawks winning that division.
Okay.
And I am actually thinking they're probably going to cruise to the number 2 or number 1 seed. I haven't fully decided yet because, and we'll talk about this a little bit next week.
Sure.
But yeah, they have a chance for the number 1 seed, I think, in the division.
Okay. All right. Well, I was a little up and down. I thought the Cardinals were going to be number 1. You talked about them first. So we have a very similar, and again, I think it was obvious who was going to be at top and the bottom. And as I said, you got 2 Super Bowl contenders in this division. It's good enough to make them the best division in football. I have Arizona at number 1.
Okay.
Okay, I have them at 12-4. And again, I'm gonna continue this trend here. Their toughest games at home, Patriots.
Yep.
At Panthers, at Vikings. Okay. You got the new stadium with the Vikings.
And
the Vikings should be tough, so I do think that's a tough game as well.
Well, I think they lose both those games, by the way.
Those 2 road games?
Those 2 road games.
Okay. So they lost an NFC title game last year to Carolina. It was a beatdown, too. I mean, they got embarrassed in that game, right? And I think I think Bruce Arians is I think he's, outside of Belichick, maybe the best coach in football. You know what I mean? And like you kind of alluded to, he can just he knows how to build a team.
Yeah.
And motivate them. And I think he will have a chip on their shoulder heading into this season. I am on the Cardinals bandwagon this season.
And to all the Bear fans out there that know Mr. McCloud and that are friends of the show, just remember, we passed on Bruce Arians for Mark Trestman.
That's very true.
Just remember that.
It's very true. There's also another one that I feel like that happened as well, but I'll think about that one.
That's the only one that matters.
It almost seems like it happens all the time. I'm not talking shit. It almost seems like it always happened. I mean, Trestman was the guy, and then it just collapsed. And
they let go of Lovie Smith after
Lovie was the most consistent guy you've had since Ditko.
And in 6 seasons.
Right. All right. So Arizona had I think the best offseason in this division as well. They added to the offensive line with Evan Mathis. They added Tyvon Branch in cornerback.
Yep.
Chandler Jones.
Yep.
They've added. I mean, it's going to be impressive to watch him play with that defensive line that they already have in place.
They're going to be stupid.
Clyde Campbell.
Yeah.
That defense is going to be absurd. And they're full of game-changing talent, right? You've got Honey Badger.
Who's back?
Right, he's going to be back, right. I mean, there's just so much talent on that defense. Offensively, they're explosive too, but I know what you mean by that. I think it really, what you mean by the age of the players. Palmer needs to stay healthy and consistent when they get to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a great game against the Packers. Fitzgerald bailed them out in that game.
Yes, he did.
And I think I think you can't deny that, right?
And the defense played well for most of the game against.
Well, yeah, and it didn't. It helped them that the defense of the Packers also shit the bed. I'm not trying to get into that. I'm just saying he did not have a great game in that divisional round. He was awful in that NFC title game against the Panthers.
Packers defensive line, linebackers, their whole front seven played really well.
I wouldn't have said this a couple of years ago. I think they are clearly have the best talent in that division. I think you could have said that. I think it would have been very hard to say that over Seattle in the last few years. So with that, number 2, and I have them at 12-4.
So now I think I'd go tit for tat for you on that.
What?
I mean, talent-wise,
yeah.
If you were really to match up players spot to spot, right now I'll take Russell over Carson.
Right.
I'll take Rawls and Johnson are on the same level in my opinion.
Okay.
Wide receiver wise, Fitzgerald's too old, so he's not even in this. So you got to talk about the receivers. Look at Dougie Baldwin and what he does in that team. But still, he lights it up. I mean, they've got, look at their tight end from the Saints.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. I mean, I'll go tit for tat Seattle and Arizona.
So, and I'll get into why I see Seattle.
All right,
and
good.
granted, and I look, if we can debate the talent there all day.
Okay.
They're two very talented teams, right?
Yep.
The Seahawks schedule is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Have you looked at it?
Yeah.
At Green Bay, at Carolina, at Oakland, Dallas at home, Minnesota, at Kansas City, plus you have to play the Cardinals twice.
Yeah.
They lose to the Rams at least once a year.
Yep.
I mean, that is brutal.
Yep.
I have them at 10-6.
Okay.
All right?
And again, with that schedule, it makes sense. Now, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to Dallas isn't going to beat them. I
They
think
could. They just beat them.
You're right, they could.
Yeah, right.
I think Seattle this year spanks Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I don't think they lose to the Rams this year because the Rams have no offense. It's just not going to happen. Well, I shouldn't say.
But they haven't
Todd
in the
Gurley
past.
is
Yeah,
so good.
and they haven't in the past.
They
right?
haven't. You're right, but
right.
I think they're gonna kind of buck that trend this year.
Okay.
They've had Green Bay's number forever. They just have.
Until again, we just beat them, and that was our home game last year, week 3,
Yeah.
I think it was. They're coming back there. I think it's a different story at Lambeau than it is
Okay.
there. But anyway, yeah. Look, no beast mode. Their offensive line is not good. They're not. They've given up pieces for Jimmy Graham, other defensive players.
Okung.
Yeah, their offensive line is brutal. And so it really is going to fall on Wilson. And as good as he is, you have to wonder, how long is that sustainable where he has to carry them and do all these things?
I think he showed the end of last year he could.
And I'm saying eventually, it's happened to Aaron, it's happened to other players. Eventually, you're going to take a hit wrong.
Yeah.
And if he goes, they go. Right?
That
Would you
I agree
agree?
with.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And so again, it's can he continue to do it another 16 weeks next year or this year? Still more talent than anybody else in the division outside of Arizona. Arguably the best QB in the division, right?
Yeah, yep.
Good enough to win them 9 or 10 games.
Oh yeah.
All right. So and we have the same bottom half. Los Angeles Rams I have at number 3. It's weird.
What did you have Arizona's record at?
12-4.
Okay, 12-4 and 10-6.
10-6.
All right, gotcha.
It's weird saying LA Rams, right?
Well, I said it. I grew up with LA Rams.
Toughest games for the Rams. All of them. They are at 6-10 this year, in my opinion.
Yep, that's you and I.
We had the same, right?
Yep.
And by the way, we shared it for San Fran as well.
Okay.
I don't care if he's the number 1 pick. Goff isn't ready, and he's not gonna be. He's not even close.
No.
And you watch Hard Knocks, right? He's not even close.
No.
You can just see.
They like his talent.
Dude, I do.
But he's not.
I do. And granted, you can make the image look however you want with the clips and everything. He can. It's there.
Yeah.
He's not ready. He's not
They
even close.
need to let Case Keenum run that team all
Without
year.
a doubt.
Don't even throw
Without
it
a doubt. Just yes.
Let him learn.
Right. Give him, dude. I think year 2, 3. I think you could have something good there.
I do too.
Worst offense in the league last year. They haven't done anything to improve that. You need a quarterback, and again, I don't think Keenum's going to be shattering records.
I hope they don't get Gurley hurt.
Yes, and again, you're
What
going
I could see happening is another ACL from him trying to do too much.
And let's take that out of it. Let's say
He might be the
he
best
stays
young
completely
player in the
healthy. Be cautious in riding him for 400 carries a year and watch him break out of, be out of the league in 3 or 4 years.
Exactly.
So yes, he's an amazing talent, right? They actually did add a couple weapons outside. And again, watching Hard Knocks has been cool. I love Hard Knocks.
Me too.
Seeing Tyler Higbee, Farrell Cooper looks good.
Dropping balls.
Tavon Austin, you got it.
Tavon's an injury risk.
But you've got, yes, of course, but you've got some explosive weapons out there.
Yeah.
Defensive line is their strongest suit. That will carry them to their 6 wins, I feel like. They're
Sick
filthy.
defensive.
And the defensive coordinator, the defensive line coach, is awesome.
Batshit crazy.
He's awesome, though. Some of his
I
shit
would
is
hate
great.
playing for that guy.
Yeah, what did they've been calling
Marine.
everybody NAFs,
Yeah.
non-athletic fox. It's great, dude. Yeah, I love it. But I think they improved enough for a couple more wins. 6-10. San Fran is the bottom feeder of the NFL, in my opinion. I think they really are a shit show. It doesn't matter what their toughest games are. Maybe the worst ran franchise in the league right now, from top to bottom. Look, there's dysfunction from top to bottom.
The
I don't
Browns
think you can.
have always been the worst.
And you can't deny that they've had like rare retirements and things like that, right? Like just most of their go-to talent and even up-and-comers like Borland retired. I'm not sure.
Like he didn't find it worth it to be there. Like, here's what I can say. Here's what I'll say, and I'll always say this about the Packer organization, places like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Borland wouldn't have retired in Pittsburgh. He wouldn't have retired in Green Bay.
You really think that?
I absolutely know it.
So, well, and we can get into this.
The
That's a
players
good
that have
topic.
played for those teams feel like they're home.
Yes. And he went to Wisconsin. That would have been a different thing maybe. Here's what I can tell you, and we should save this for another topic for another day. I assure you, the league and the players, everybody who loves football, was very quick and totally okay with that story going under the rug.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it mattered where he went.
No.
He came out and said the rookie symposium that they always have, he said he was like disgusted after it. Mm-hmm. The things that they were telling him to do, to keep hush-hush on certain things. Chris Carter is when he got in trouble for saying that, have a fall guy. I mean, he was just like not feeling what this was, the whole business side to it. And so, again, that's topic for another conversation.
In flux. Because that was right around the whole Jim Harbaugh taking off.
Yeah.
Tom Sula coming in, and Tom Sula was not a good coach.
Borland could kill it. He had like 150 tackles or something.
That's what I'm saying. If he was in a better organization, if he was somewhere, probably anywhere, but maybe Cleveland and San Francisco, I bet he would have stayed.
Maybe a year or two. But again, he's big on I want my body to be okay. It was fun doing this as a sport as a kid. Yes, absolutely. So, hey, at the end of the day, I don't think, going back to this, I don't think Chip Kelly is the type of coach to come in and be the disciplinary guy.
Yeah, no.
And kind of be that go-to voice in the room, kind of take control. I think he's going to give too much leash there.
Speaking of Hard Knocks, by the way.
There you go. Right. Absolutely. It's good that he's getting back in there, I guess. I know he wants to be. I know he wants to be a head coach again.
Harbaugh took his teams to the Super Bowl twice, or to Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. Those were Singletary's teams.
That's fine. I think Harbaugh's a far better coach.
Yes, I think Harbaugh took them to the next level.
From them. Yeah,
Harbaugh took the next level, but those were Singletary's guys. Those weren't Harbaugh's guys.
Sure.
Singletary put that team together.
Okay. I wouldn't call it his team, but yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, he was there for a couple of years there. Just remember this, and I'll be done here. Just remember, Chip is the offensive genius, right?
College offensive genius.
That's how he's still touted, is this offensive guru and genius, right? Mm-hmm. If they have a circus on offense, I think it'll be hard to get behind him, and I don't think it'll be tolerated for very long. He can have a shit year this year, but I think if they, that's kind of what comes with that title of being this mastermind, is if you don't get it fixed in a quick, timely manner, you might be in trouble, and he can't afford to be fired quickly again.
This is what I'm going to tell you. I know the one thing I do know about Chip Kelly is he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you in this contract, with this owner, what he did, and because this is the only team that would go for it, I guarantee we're going to see Chip Kelly there minimum 4 years.
Wow.
Because I think Chip let him know, listen, I need my guys. That's how I run my offense. Let me get my guys.
And you understand
and it's going to be like, similar to what Fox is doing in Chicago.
Yeah, right.
They're turning the team over.
Okay.
He's going to turn the team over.
Right.
And I think he's worked in there 3 to 4 years of that. Let me turn the team over, watch our progress, and you'll see what happens. Right. I really do think that San Francisco will let him get away with that.
Okay. And look, I touched on how I think it's a dysfunctional organization. I think outside of dysfunction, there's just not enough talent there right now.
There isn't.
And that goes off what you were just saying as well. They need to start building their team up and getting the guys that he wants. Hey, I am all for letting a coach stick around to build his team, right? Because we're so quick in today's day and age to cut a guy off before he actually has a chance, right?
Yep.
That is the NFL and sports these days. So I'm okay with that. I'm just saying that is a hard thing to do nowadays.
All right.
You don't get it done in a few years, you usually cut. So
next week, I think we're going to the divisions that we both love. We're wearing our jerseys today because it is both games are at the same time. Bears and Packers are playing the preseason game. Bears have actually scored points, which is pretty GD exciting.
We've both kind of been glancing at TV. We got to switch to Packers for the next segment, so I get my time in. All right.
When we come back,
killing it right now, though.
That's good. Yeah. I know. Bears are playing well. When we come back, it's top 5 time. We went out of the sports world for the first time, right?
Thank God. I want to do this more often.
I know. We went out of the sports world. Let us know what you guys think about this week's top 5. We'll be right back.